Day 7 has come and gone here at WBC.
Yes, it has.
And that's pretty much a wrap outside of some other stuff tomorrow. We have played our last tournaments.
Yep.
That's all she wrote pretty much. So it is it's Friday night, and it's about almost 1:30 in the morning. So
going into Saturday.
Morning, whatever. You want to recap how the day went?
Sure. So we had a bit of a late start. So we missed the breakfast buffet.
Yeah,
so,
no big deal there.
Right. So then you had Pacific Typhoon at 1.
Right. So fun story about that. So this is heat 4 of 4. And if you win your heat, i.e. you win your table, you automatically advance to the semifinals.
Okay.
So it's Atlantic Storm or Pacific Typhoon. So they're very similar. One is the first edition, one is the second edition, kind of, and with a few rules changes here and there. So Pacific Typhoon is the game that we learned in the demo. It's the game I played in round 2.
Right.
Took third in that. And this one ended up with a table full of really fun folks. Had a really good time playing it. So the reason I was so frustrated today was, in the game, there is a card that allows you to refight a battle that someone has already claimed.
Okay.
Well, I chose Pearl Harbor, so 1941 Pearl Harbor. And in that, you can choose any year from that year on to fight it in, and then you choose day or night, and then you choose whether it's going to be air, surface, or
everything.
sub.
You pick everything.
Redo it, and you're refighting the battle.
Okay.
I had such an awesome play for that card. So I drew here. One guy was running away with the tournament until I snatched Pearl Harbor out from him, which is a 7-point card, which in the scheme of 30, 35
that's
points,
a lot.
That's a massive amount of points. Well, as it was, so Pearl Harbor, 7-point card. But because I'm dealer, I get to choose the battle. So I chose to refight this due to the card that came up.
Okay.
And I had a massive Japanese card.
Okay.
It allowed me to roll 2 dice roll a single die and add it to my total value. Came around the table, so I'm the first to play. Everybody plays. I have to roll my die. It's a 6-sided die. I need to roll 2 through 6, and I win Pearl Harbor.
Oh, no.
You know how this is going to turn out.
Yeah.
So I roll a 1.
Oh.
So the Japanese won Pearl Harbor in this, which I was fighting. I was bidding for the Japanese in the trick taking card game that we talked about a couple days ago. Yeah. So then one of the other guys won Pearl Harbor. So now he might win he might win our table instead of the guy that was running away with it. Well, fast forward to the last, what would have been the penultimate fight or battle. It ends up a tie between the Japanese and the Allies. So that means all the cards get put underneath the battle card and you refight it. Okay. So the spoils are significantly worth even more because there's more spoils. You get all the spoils from the losing side of the first time, but you have to refight it. It's as if it went to a new day. I play a big card. I get 2 dice this time because someone called for a combined, meaning air, surface, and submarine.
Okay.
So I need to roll 2 dice, 2 6-sided dice simultaneously. Yeah. I need to roll a 4 or higher, so 4 through 12. So anything but a 2 or 3.
Okay. I know.
I rolled a 3.
Oh, no.
19 points I would have won in that battle, which would have all but assured me either one of those. Had I won either one of those battles, so the die. So I had a 1 in 6 shot or 5 out of 6 to win the Pearl Harbor. Yeah. I would have won by 2 points. I would have won by a massive amount had I hit the 19. And I failed on both of them.
That sucks.
So would have made the semifinals. So moral of the story:
roll better.
Roll better. And number 2, don't play games with dice where you actually roll them. So I was frustrated. I mean, I wasn't one. I was like, oh, you know, it was one of those son of a bitch, you know, moments. I wasn't, you know, whatever, but I was animated. It was fun. I tweeted out a picture, whatever. So Ben, who's the designer of the game, afterwards, later on in the afternoon, after we came back, he paid me a really big compliment. Yeah. I was like, hey, thanks for, you know, designing the game and everything else. And he gave us a prototype of the new version coming out from Lock and Load. And he was like, no, thank you for playing it. He said you made the tournament a lot more exciting, a lot more fun, because y'all might not realize this, but I kind of have a fun personality, I think. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. That was cool of him to say. Yeah,
it was really sweet of him to say that. It's true, though.
So after my robbery, my Travis of losing a Pacific Typhoon, I mean, that would only been the heat to move into the semis, but would have been my first ever, you know, semifinal appearance. Oh, well. After that, and I think his name, I know it's Brian, I think it's Brian Hanrahan. He's the designer of the wooden version of this game called Railroads. It's currently on Kickstarter. Well, he had sent us a prototype of the second edition.
Last year sometime. Yeah. Long time ago.
And we tried it and we were like, well, not sure. Well, he was here with it because it's currently on Kickstarter. And he's like, we ran into him and he was like, hey, would you sit down and give it another shot? And I was like, you know what? Sure. So we played the shorter version of the game. And I got to say, I enjoyed the game a whole lot more than I had. He's revamped some of the rules. And the one unintuitive thing, coming from a background of Age of Steam, normally wherever you start your route from, you can go from where the city starts, whatever, to a city, through that city, to the next city, to the next city, et cetera, et cetera. So that coming from an Age of Steam history, then you get used to that. Yeah. Well, his game, when you start a company, kind of like an 18XX, you start, you know, the PRR, the Pennsylvania, whatever. You can start it anywhere on the board, with a couple of exceptions. Every connection must come back directly to your hub, to your home station. Meaning you can't go from your home station to a city and then into another city. It has to branch off from your in between cities to be able to come back to the central.
That's weird.
So it's unintuitive because we have a history of steam. But when you think about it, when I was sitting there, I was like, oh, you actually can trace the path because you actually have ownership of the track that you build in this game. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
So that and a couple other little tweaks to the game. And I got to say, I really enjoyed it.
Okay, good.
It's a lighter version, and it's a pick up and deliver, but it's unlike any other that I've played. And I'm actually anxious to go back home and break it out again and play it with our group.
Yeah, with the new rules.
With the new rules.
Okay.
So there was that. So told him I'd mention it, and I got to be honest, I really enjoyed it a lot more. Now,
okay, good.
Because we've been here the whole time that it's been on Kickstarter and the internet is so sketchy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Kickstarter. So I don't know if this is like for a cloth map or
I have no idea.
Cardboard or whatever. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to checking that out. So after Railroads, you and I met in the lobby. And
I was uploading yesterday's diary and getting all that done and everything. And then after that, we went on our camera tour of WBC.
Yeah, so we decided, you know what, and I think we mentioned we were going to
You've done it, I mentioned a couple times.
So we're going to, or we did, just basically leave from our room and walk all over WBC and show it all off. So we did that. That was a lot of walking.
Yes.
I'm actually going to do another one of it tomorrow before we leave, just to be able to, maybe things will be more busy because some of the rooms weren't nearly.
We went at about dinner time-ish, so yeah.
So there was that, but that was fun. we also hit the store that we had mentioned yesterday. And there were, I don't know, 10, 12 vendors in there or so. Let's see. So Lock and Load's there, GMT's there.
Compass, Griggling Games, Lock and Load. A couple
Worthington,
just dealers.
Yeah. Mostly, almost exclusively war game stuff. But it was cool. Like GMT had mounted maps. So if you had some boards that either got messed up or that you have the paper map for, or whatever,
like Unhappy King Charles.
Right. So there was that. They had different new packs of cards for CDGs and stuff. So that was cool. That was unexpected. Got to meet Tony Curtis of GMT, which was definitely nice. He's been our point of contact throughout the entire life of the podcast. Yeah. He's been super good to us, and so it was nice to actually meet him in person. Yeah. We met a bunch of people that we've been corresponding with via email.
It's nice to meet faces.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Then after that, we got ready for the Battleline Tournament.
Yeah, we did. It was you played in pods, so it was sets of 4 people, and you did round robin inside that pod. Right,
so you're playing 3 games within your pod.
Yeah.
And the winner of each pod advances.
Yeah. And so everybody plays 3 games, like you said, and I won one of them.
But ironically, the defending champion
was my very first match. Yeah.
But you said you almost beat him.
I did, and I had no idea that it was him. So whatever. But yeah, no, I almost did, but he got me.
But that was your first win in the tournament. Yes. So congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting, right?
Is, yeah.
Very cool.
And then how'd you do?
So I was 1-1 in my first 2 games, neither of which did I play poorly in, to be honest. I feel like I played well, and just the cards favored
Same here,
the GM,
really, yeah.
In the first game. The second game, I won handily. I was able to win 5-2, so that was nice. I claimed 5 flags. Then in the third match, so in our pod, the GM was in ours, and I was playing against this 14, 15-year-old kid who, nice kid, but obviously had been coming to WBC for years and knew a lot of people and everything. And so it was about halfway through his and my match, and he was looking over at the GM who was in our pod, the guy who runs the tournament. And he was like, man, I really need the other guy. I think his name was Richard. He's like, I need Richard to win so that, I have a chance to advance. And he said this in the middle of our game, like it was already a foregone conclusion that I'm some chump and he was going to beat me. And so I looked at him. I said, whoa, slow down, youngin'. I said, you still got to win this one. He's like, oh, yeah, well, obviously, sure. But, and I said, because it's obvious you're not going to win with a breakthrough, meaning 3 flags in a row, which gets you a win scoring 6-0 is what that counts as for one of the tiebreakers. And he's like, well, I wouldn't say that I'm not going to. And I was like, oh, okay. I smoked his ass. So I beat him via breakthrough.
Yes.
So I beat him 6-0.
Awesome.
That felt good. So I feel like I did him an honor.
Yes.
By teaching him a life lesson in humility, not to get cocky, and don't count your chickens before they're hatched.
Right.
So yes, I'm gloating that I beat a 14 or 15-year-old kid in Battleline. What?
Nothing wrong with that.
So anyway, I went 2-1 in my pod.
That's great.
Yeah, I was very respectable. I was very happy with that. Unfortunately, the GM ended up going 3-0 in ours. And to be honest with you, my last match literally did not matter who won or lost, because if he won, he's 3-0 and he advances. If he lost, no matter which one of me or the kid had won, he would have had the first tiebreaker in head-to-head because he will have beaten us both. Right. So it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But it was still worth playing out, and it was fun, even though we couldn't advance. Right. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that felt good. I mean, 2-1. All right.
That's really good. Yeah.
I don't care if one was, whatever. Moving on. So after that, walked around a little and then went up to dinner because at 11 o'clock was going to start the Liar's Dice tournament,
Right.
which was my team event.
Yes.
The most attended event, I believe, of anything.
Probably.
Something like 200 folks showed up for that.
It was crazy.
Dinner was good. It was the seafood buffet.
It was good.
Enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, actually, before the Liar's Dice, I forgot we had met up with Carmen and Eric, his son, and had played a little Liar's Dice as well.
Getting ready for it, a warm-up game.
Warm up so we could stretch.
Yeah. Start our lies.
Jeff Gamble showed up, formerly of the Longview.
Right.
And he'd never played Liar's Dice. And I was like, wait, what? So we taught him how to play that. And I would have never guessed this, but Jeff Gamble talking some mad trash during that. That was fantastic. It was hysterical.
It was really funny.
So we had a really good time. Yeah. While that was going on, I got to kind of chat with Uwe Eichart and his son Gunther from Academy Games. So set up a Conversations with Heavy Cardboard, which will be coming in a couple of weeks. So looking forward to that. Then we got into Liar's Dice. Well, I say we.
I did not. That's way too loud for me. So what I did was, at the very beginning, everybody rattles their dice in their cups and
did a whole kind of "We Will Rock You" thing.
So I stayed in the main hallway then. And
there were like 200 people doing this. It was crazy.
No.
Then I actually took a little video on my camera with
good.
it, and that was pretty cool.
I got some of it once it died down a little bit.
So then I got into the tournament. So Carmen and Eric and our teammate Lou was in there. A whole bunch of people that we had met, 200 people, whatever. Yeah. So I told everybody, I said, hey, I hope everybody has a good time, but you are playing against the 2017 world champion at Liar's Dice. Everyone was good-natured about it, and there was trash talking all around, and it was totally fun. Well, what we didn't know was the first person who gets eliminated out of everybody, they serenade you out the door.
Yes. So, I got that on video.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. So there was a wonderful older woman at my table by the name of Jean. Her husband, sitting directly behind her, was the unfortunate soul that was the first one knocked out. Apparently he had won this at PresCon this year, but was the first knocked out of 200 some odd people. So everybody did their, the honorable thing and was like, na, 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 hey, 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 goodbye. And that was pretty funny. So then it came down at my table. I had knocked out 4 of the 6 opponents. It came down to me and Jean.
Yes.
And I took it to a whole new level, whole meta level. She never stood a chance. So Jean, if you're listening to this, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But it just was meant to be. It's not your fault.
No.
She never had a shot. Smoked her. So I advanced to the semifinals of Liar's Dice. There were, I guess 49 people, or like 48 people left that advanced. Everybody won their table. And anybody who won their table in the semifinal made it to the finals. And I was not one of them, unfortunately. Had a bunch of sharks. No, it was a lot of fun. I actually played with John, who's the developer of Pacific Typhoon.
Oh, yeah.
Who won the Atlantic Storm tournament.
Yes.
I was like, oh, yeah, John, you won, huh? He was like, yeah, I was hoping you didn't ask. So, again, that got brought back up. The fact that I had lost that earlier in the day due to no fault of my own, other than I need to roll better. So that was it just was a great time.
Yeah, it's really been a lot of fun.
It really has. So after that, kind of just hung out with some folks, said goodbyes and everything, and that was that. Yeah. And here we are. Yeah. Getting ready to watch 7 and go to bed.
Lovely, lovely going to sleep movie, 7. Oh, yeah.
Nothing says, hey, come snuggle, like a little serial killer,
yeah,
right?
No kidding.
So we are going to do one more recap for tomorrow, even though tomorrow's kind of a, hey, have breakfast, walk around, do a couple things, and then head out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's WBC. So hopefully, again, we've been pretty much shut off from most of the world internet wise.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys have enjoyed these.
Yeah, we don't know, so hopefully.
So if you haven't, let us know. One way or the other. Let us know going forward, because this is something that I can do at Gen Con.
Yeah.
And we can do it Essen, et cetera, et cetera. So if you guys are enjoying this, we'll continue it. If you're not, if it's a waste of whatever, get to the point. We want to talk about, you don't want to hear about this, then tell us that too.
Yeah, so we know to not do this.
Right. So, I mean, it's been fun. It's been exciting. It's been, there are some really, I don't care how good you think you are in your game group.
Right.
Come here. Bring it. Have fun with it. But there's some high-level play that goes on here.
In every game.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is.
So, Brian, Combat Commander, come on down.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? So, yeah, it was a great time. Thanks, everybody, for listening this week.
Yeah.
And, I guess we'll catch you all tomorrow on our way to the airport.
Yeah, most likely. Either that or when we get home.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll talk to y'all later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.